What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, the Bachelor Grant season continues to move along. Episode 4, back after last week. I was personally out last week. If you haven't watched any other videos on the channel, had the flu, was down for about a week, so didn't have any videos on the channel. But we are back, thankfully, fully healthy again, and we are back with quite a bit of drama that we missed last week, and that unfolded on Monday night's episode of The Bachelor. We had some Carolina drama, dating back to the dancing in front of with everyone date from a couple weeks ago, and so much more to go on last week and on Monday night. The cold open, we see Rose calling out Carolina about her doing her dirty with revealing some information that she revealed to Carolina in private, in confidence, and revealed to Grant, and that kind of threw a wrench in everything last week and was kind of the catalyst for a lot of the drama last week. So before we jump into this week's recap, if you could hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Bachelor content on the channel throughout the season, so we will have recaps for every episode minus last week, week 3, but when we are healthy, we will have recaps every single week and any other big stories that come out from this season. So, jumping in, only 10 women left, which is crazy as well. We are flying right through the season. It seems like only 4 episodes in, and we are already down in the final 10. Carolina drew the drama at the prom cocktail party from the night previous to talk with Grant, and drew it out after she had already had the rose, and the girls are still upset about that, so that is bleeding into the next day, and rightfully so. But we're taking the show on the road, heading to Madrid, Spain. Jesse mentions, and I agree, to Grant that this is usually a pivotal week, kind of like full of some aha moments, or where some relationships start to separate themselves. You know, the first week on the road brings some different stuff and feelings to the table, and, you know, kind of at that halfway point almost, and, you know, some relationships really get to form and, you know, take hold in this journey. And one-on-one date time, and Dina gets the first one-on-one of the week. Grant looking for Dina to open up a little bit, break some walls down. They walk the streets, play soccer with some kids, learn some dance moves as well. They both write a wish and have a similar one about wanting a happy marriage, children, and they put it up on the wall with all the others. They head off on a little rowboat type situation, have a nice conversation, and at the dinner portion, the conversation continues kind of about how, you know, the societal norms about, you know, it's a very manly thing to provide for your family, and Dina says, you know, what's even manlier though is realizing that you have a woman who can do that and provide for their family as well. I agree with that 100%, and, you know, also they are just emphasizing about that relationships are a partnership. You know, this thing is 50-50, not, you know, you have to do everything for your partner. And as Grant says, he likes that, and it's, you know, kind of different for him in relationships from what it seems like. Dina does get the rose at the end of the date. Back at the hotel, Carolina said she doesn't feel like she had enough time with Grant, even though she's got the one-on-one, and she's had a bunch of other time as well. But saying all this stuff, as Latia puts it kind of best, it kind of feels like almost entitled, like you're entitled to this time, and like she said, she's had enough time with Grant, and, you know, Carolina talks about not liking seeing Grant intimate with others, and it's like, okay, but, you know, this is what you signed up for, but you see this every season, you know it, and we get a group date. Alex, Latia, Carolina, Natalie, and Rose, Parisa, Zoe, and Juliana all going on the group date. So that means Serafina is going to get the one-on-one. On the group date, they take a ride through the city on some donkeys. Parisa's donkey has a little gas, and Carolina's wants to take it slow, and she's kind of stuck towards the back of the pack here, and they're going to learn how to be a matadora. Latia steals a kiss as they're, you know, kind of going through training for this, much to Carolina's dislike. The ladies and Grant all change. They're going to be riding mechanical bull, put some of their training and skills to the test. Alex grew up on a farm, comes up with a different technique, literally grabbing the bull by the horns, and hangs on there for 47 seconds, but Zoe, who was a high school wrestler as well, picks up that technique as well, hangs on for a little bit longer, gets some extra time with Grant. At the night portion, Grant gives Parisa a little rock that I guess she collects everywhere she goes. A pretty cool moment there for them. Rose tries to repair everything at what happened last week, but the drama involving Carolina as well. So they're trying to work through that, but have a nice, honest conversation. Seems like they're moving forward a little bit. Zoe is able to open up to Grant about struggles she had growing up in a predominantly white community, and I believe she said she was adopted as well, so couldn't have been easy. And her and Grant seem to grow even closer after she is able to open up like that with him. Carolina feels like she doesn't know him, doesn't know how you can get engaged after like one date, and really is just at the end of the day questioning this process. It seems like, even though she has got so much more time than everyone else at this point, Juliana pulls Carolina aside and voices her opinion about the questions that kind of everyone has about her approach to this and being so negative about everything. Carolina is just like, well, I don't remember asking for your opinion. Conversation really goes nowhere. They come back inside. It's kind of awkward. People are asking like, oh, what was that about? Juliana's like, we're just having a chat. We can bring it to the table if you want to, Carolina. But they eventually do, and they kind of start to have a group discussion a little bit about Carolina's negativity and her questions about the process, but she just gets defensive. And I mean, you can't really blame her when it's, whatever it was, 8-on-1 or 7-on-1, whatever it was. But they're bringing up valid points, and, she kind of just gets defensive. During the combo, Grant comes in towards the end, however, sees Carolina's crying. Grant pulls her and wants to check on her, and much to the ladies' dislike, again, the Carolina show still moving on. Grant doesn't want to give out a rose, wants to consider some things, think some things over. I know that's not the popular opinion, but I kind of don't mind that from Grant. You don't want to make a rush decision. You kind of just want to take a step back, look at what happened, possibly at the cocktail party, get some more answers. Next date, we get the Serafina one-on-one date. They drive up near this train track, walk up to this bridge. They're going to be jumping off the bridge together, but it's raining. Kind of scary. Serafina hits the nail on the head, though, that it's a great bonding experience doing something like this. She can tell that Grant is a little nervous, scared, to say the least, which could not blame him, especially with the rain. And the instructor is not doing a good job reassuring them here either. But they do it, have a good time, conquered it, and feel better afterwards, and feel like they grow even closer. At the night portion, Grant says that, I feel like when we're kissing, like you're not going all the way in, or maybe you're not all the way in this process. Serafina's like, no. I'm just doing that because my mom's watching, which, I mean, who can blame her? But she talks about growing up without a dad, what that was like, the struggle she had navigating that, and about wanting her kids to have that ideal love with their parents and towards their parents like she didn't have, like she said. But she gets the rose at the end of the date. Grant says how this was a slow burn, but they caught fire today, which, dating back, that was kind of what Jesse said. So I think they are in a good spot here moving forward. At the cocktail party, Grant comes in and wants to speak with Juliana about the group date. She tells him her side of things, where she was coming from with the situation. Grant says that this Carolina thing is really bothering him, especially after Vegas, taking the private jet to Vegas, jumping off the building, opening up everything that they both did. That, her being so judgmental and, towards this process is bothering him. Grant opens up to her about those feelings. She feels weird vibes afterwards. But they get through the conversation, move forward. Dina speaks up in support of Carolina, which put a note in that for later. But Rose tells Carolina how it felt like what she did by telling Grant about what she confided in her with about the whole dancing thing. You watched the episode last week. We're not going to recap it again, but she kind of used that against her. And at the end of the day, we get the line from Rose, "You did me dirty," that we've kind of seen throughout some of the promo this season. And she. At the end of the day, Rose feels like she wants to go home, that this is too much to navigate, and that situation kind of put her too far behind the 8 ball, I guess you can say. And she tells Grant that she thinks it's in her best interest to go home. So she heads out, and the girls are still upset that this is the Carolina show for now the second rose ceremony in a row. If you're counting it, that's a group date mixed in there as well. So the ladies are rightfully so a little upset here. And at the rose ceremony, Latia, Juliana, Alex, Zoe, and Carolina get roses, meaning Natalie, who I was really high on, especially after that early group date, basketball date, some of the other conversations as well, was really high on her going forward. She goes home, and Parisa goes home. Starting a petition right now, I know, which we didn't talk about this. We'll have a video at some point talking about this and what this means going forward, but no Bachelorette this summer. Not happening this summer, but I'm starting the petition right now. I already started it on Twitter right during the moment that she went home afterwards. Natalie for Bachelorette, whenever we come back. I think she would be incredible for that role. But moving ahead to next week, looks like they are off to Scotland. Looks like Juliana, possibly one-on-one date, and possibly Zoe as well. Both look like they are possibly getting the one-on-one date as well. Grant starting to fall it seems like, from some of the previews. Don't really know, obviously, editing. Seems like talking to Zoe, but could be Juliana as well, or could be someone on the group date as well. And then, of course, more Carolina drama. Hoping, I feel like with the way the season usually goes, feels like we probably have another episode or two of drama before we really get down to the nitty gritty. We came in, this episode at 10. Rose going home, and then Natalie and Parisa going home. Now we're down to 7. So next week, I mean, there's no way send home 2 people next week. So if we get down 1 next week, get down to final 6. Final 5, that is hopefully, I mean, usually or hopefully, it just seems like the season is flying by, going so fast. Usually about the next week or so is usually where the drama kind of starts to subside for the most part, most of these Bachelorette seasons. And then it's like, okay, we're locking in and actually getting to what the show is about, the love story. Like, yes, I know the drama, the show loves that, and some of the fans love that. But for the most part, we, at the end of the day, just want to see a love story. So hopefully we are coming to the end of the drama, which seems mostly centric around Carolina. And even Dina, it looks like, is not defending her anymore. So hopefully we're possibly getting an end to that drama next week. Nothing against Carolina, and that's what I always say about all the women on the show, all the men on the show for the most part. Like, yes, there's some odd outliers. I don't think Carolina's a bad person. I don't think any of the quote-unquote villains that are, portrayed on this show, it's like they're on a reality TV show. They're put in, these situations. I know other people on here talk about it as well, but it's like, they're put in these weird situations that, the show has got to come up with characters and, situations, storylines that, you can't really blame them 100%. It is some of the stuff their fault, and should they take accountability for their actions? 100%. Yes, but at the end of the day, these people aren't bad people. Unfortunately, how the fan base is and how the online internet is, they will unfortunately probably get hate. I wish that wasn't the case, so just be kind out there. But anyway, just in the scope of this season, hopefully the drama is coming to an end soon, and we are just getting into the nitty-gritty of the love story. And I do think there has been some, good love story moments, developing throughout this season. I think, Zoe, who maybe started off a little bit rocky, I think she's, coming along even more. That love story, Latia, my winner pick, or pick for Grant, however you want to word it. I know it always sounds horrible when you say winner pick, but the person who I chose Grant to be with at the end of this, Latia, I thought they got off to a really good start. Alex as well. I thought Natalie was starting to develop something with Grant, but obviously she's no longer here. But there's some nice moments growing here. Juliana, I think there's something, starting to spark there. So there's a lot of potential with the ladies left, and I really do like the ladies on this season. And I think Grant is doing a pretty good job so far this season as well. It just seems like this season is absolutely flying by, though. But anyway, I'm still holding strong with my final 2 of Latia and Alex, with Alex ending up with Grant at the end of this. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. We will be back next week with a recap next week for next week's episode. But anyway, glad to be back. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.